Dennis, and thank you very much for inviting me, Dennis, and everyone else that accepted me to be here tonight. I've written 2 books. One's called The Second Father, and one's called Who's Who in the Zoo. Who's Who in the Zoo, I named a few people that were corrupt and all that, but I'll give you a little bit of an insight on how I came to be the New Farm State School with Dennis. I was born in Sicily, 3 boys, and when we came to Australia, Dad and my younger brother came first. 2 years later, he sent for Mum. I'll rush through because I know the times. And in 1954, my mother and myself and the 3rd brother, we came to Australia. We settled in Annie Street, New Farm, and went to New Farm State School. Within a few years, New Farm became Little Italy just about. It was just a matter that you had to adjust, speak English or speak Italian. Well, I had to adjust, and people have asked me, how did you adjust in the police, what you did and what happened? Well, it was easy for me to adjust because I had to go home after school trying to learn English and speak in my Sicilian dialect at home. So I had to adjust. Either that or I become a rebel like some of the other Italians and Greeks kids ended up because they couldn't adjust to the 2 cultures. I did, I believe I did, and I'm still here, and I believe that I think in English, and then secondly I think in Italian. You know, so that's how long I've been in this country. So I was 9 and a half when I came to Australia, went to New Farm, and then went to Kelvin Grove High School, and we were the first pupil at Kelvin Grove High School. They opened it up that year, we were the first pupil there. But to live in New Farm, you've got to sort of appreciate the culture of New Farm. If you didn't know how to fight, you didn't know how to give it back, you didn't survive. And as Dennis would tell you, we did struggle in earlier days. Doesn't matter who you were, there was kids who were crooks, kids who were stealing money, and that's how it went. Some of the kids that went to school with Dennis and I ended up in Bogger Road those days doing armed robberies. I used to see them there when I'd go there and take my usual guests, you know. So that's how I grew up. I decided to join the police force in 1960. As I got sworn in, I'll rush through, I got sworn in, I did 3 months in uniform just as a trainee, and then they approached me and they said, we need you to go undercover. So I went undercover, and Ravens Court, South Brisbane was the big gambling joint. Jerry Bellino, he ran the gaming joint. You all know of him, of course. He ran the gaming joint. I got into the game and I went there for 3 months. Lost money, a lot of money. It wasn't mine, it was the government's money. So I lost the money, and eventually, when we had enough evidence, they raided the place and everybody got arrested, included me. We ended up at the Brisbane Watch House in the Hume-Lassa Hayman before it got transferred. So I came back to Brisbane. Within 3 months I went undercover, and I didn't really want to go undercover. That's your truly working undercover. So you can just imagine what I look like going in and out of brothels and gaming joints and all that. It was fun. So that's what I look like. So you can just imagine. So I did it on and off for a few years, and then I got a bit tired. I approached the boss. But the first $100 came to my typewriter after about 4 months. They would back a horse, and Jack Herbert would put $10 on the horse for everybody in the office. 15 staff, he put it on. And then Monday morning, the horse never lost. He put $100 on each one's typewriter. Now, I walked in one day morning, and I said to Neville, what's this? He said, mate, Jack backs a horse for us every Saturday. The horse never loses. There's your 100. I said, woo, I'm not taking any money that I didn't back the horse. Neville said, are you sure? I said, I'm 100% sure I don't want the money. So Neville took the money. He took mine and his. So we were here.
For a young Sicilian boy who came out, his dad had nothing. His dad and my dad were both tram conductors and bus drivers. That's how we got to know each other. So he went from working for the Brisbane City Council, and by the time his parents had died, they had amassed a number of houses. Mick started with nothing, and he's reasonably comfortable now, and he's a real success story of the young folk that came out after the war. And for the young people in the room, they wouldn't appreciate how tough it was in the late 50s and 60s when I was first in the police, there was so many people who from Europe were still fighting the war. You know, you'd go out at night and they'd be knifing things that weren't there, so it was a bit spooky. But look, Mick's done a mighty job. I think they want me to give you this. But can I say, when I was in Parliament, Whitrod hit me with a writ, and the only time Joe ever came in to listen to me speak was when I was talking about the Juvenile Aid Bureau. So it was an interesting situation, so we can talk more about that another day. But Mick, I'm sure you'll enjoy this being a good Italian boy. You know what to do with it.